Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so we're in a new month, so there are new polls out. And I'm going to go through and talk about some of them, and I'm going to detail for you the uniparty, never-Trumper, Republican, Democrat establishment plot to stop President Trump in light of these new polls. And
Plan Z.
Yeah, they've got a new scummy strategy that they're trying to push on us, and they're hitting it from every different possible angle. We'll get to that in a few minutes.
They're really pathetic.
Yeah, but I want to go through.
But he's the bad guy.
Yeah, the latest.
I tell you,
the latest poll, and this is brand new as of today. This one is for the Republican presidential nomination, so it's just the Republicans, which is all that matters right now because we're in primary season. It's the Quinnipiac poll, and Trump is leading by 49 points. Trump has 64.
Wow.
DeSantis is in second place at 15. Nikki Haley at 8. And Ramaswamy is at 3.
When was this poll?
It just
done?
came out. So today. So it's done in the last.
So this is after the whole thing with the boots and the height.
Yeah, that'd be factored into it. I mean, yeah, probably, yeah, absolutely. So, and if you go through all the polls in the different states, including Iowa, which I'm not going to bore you and just read off a bunch of numbers, he's ahead in every poll. There is not a poll where he's not only ahead, I mean, he's ahead by just massive numbers, 60 points, 50 points, 49 points, 70 points. I mean, there's
no catching up.
Yeah, there's no competition with any of these people. Okay, it's not a competition. He's so far ahead.
In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a primary or any poll where somebody was that far ahead of anybody else.
No, it's
maybe
never
Ronald
happened.
Reagan. Maybe
No, not even Ronald Reagan.
It's unprecedented, I think.
No one, because you got to remember, he's not the sitting president. He's a former president, right?
Yeah.
So so he's technically not an incumbent. It's unusual to have a president running like this who's not in office, but he has the highest polling numbers of anyone in this situation in the primary ever. Okay? And he's being hit on many, we are all being hit on many different fronts by the uniparty, and they've got a few things that they are doing. The main thing is now everything's about Nikki Haley. If you turn on Fox News or anything, anytime something happens, someone has a hangnail in the West Bank, let's go and talk to Nikki Haley and see her thoughts on the hangnail issue in the West Bank.
Yeah, they're really promoting her.
Whatever the issue is, they go to Nikki Haley to get her opinion on it. And I got to tell you something. Nikki Haley is a do-nothing. She was twice elected governor of South Carolina. She resigned before she finished her second term because Trump made her ambassador to the UN. What did she do that was memorable as governor that's significant?
And she seems constantly pissed off.
She's always ticked off.
She's always angry.
Yeah, well,
doesn't she seem that way? Like just always mad and has something to prove. And I think she would be a very dangerous president. She's like a warmonger.
She's one of those types of women she's not in any job right now, but she's one of those women who thinks that she has to act like a man, and it just comes off is just unattractive and angry all the time. But everything is behind Nikki Haley now. And she unveiled a new ad that they're running in Iowa, and it's a Nikki Haley attack ad on DeSantis. And what's happened, DeSantis has lost his big donors. And
I guess they've all gone to her.
Well, yeah. The donors from Pence and from DeSantis have gone to Nikki Haley. And this is what they are strategizing, okay? With all these new polls out today where Trump has this massive lead. The first three are the Iowa caucus, then New Hampshire, then South Carolina. And what they're trying to do is position Nikki Haley to come in second in all of these. They don't expect her to beat Trump. She's only in Iowa right now, she's at 8. Okay.
And what's DeSantis in Iowa?
DeSantis is at 11.
So he's still the second place guy.
But he's hopeless. There's a lot of pressure being put on DeSantis right now for people in his circle to drop out.
That's not going to happen.
In fact, this whole thing with the boots, that happened this week with Patrick Bet-David and all the others. It's the establishment trying to get him to drop out.
You think so?
Yeah.
So you think somebody put I thought it was really weird because Patrick Bet-David is a fan of DeSantis's. I went to his Twitter, and he just before that even happened, he posted a picture of them at a game in a skybox together with their arms around each other. They're buddies. And I said to you, why did he go after him like this and humiliate him? Somebody put him up to it, and you're probably right. It's probably somebody that is a rhino and somebody in the deep state that realizes he's not going to win. He doesn't have a chance in hell. It's coming down to the wire. The Iowa caucus is in January, and they're doing it to get him to leave. But we're in a new era of politics.
I'll lose my train of thought.
Nobody
Kathy.
drops out anymore.
I'll totally forget my train of thought if I don't finish. So, with their you're right about that. DeSantis, they've humiliated. They cut his funding. He didn't drop out. Right. Now they've humiliated him.
They don't drop out anymore,
and he won't drop out. But what their strategy is this. They're trying to set it up so that Nikki Haley comes in second. And what's going to happen is, however many points Trump is ahead in this state or that state, when the caucus happens in Iowa and the primaries happen, the results in these primaries are going to be different than the poll numbers. Trump is still going to win, but the chances are, at least this is what the Uniparty thinks, the gap won't be as wide. Like she's at 8 right now in Iowa, and he's like at 50-something or 60-something in Iowa. They're hoping he'll come in at like 52, and she'll be like in the 20s or the 30s or something like this. And what they know she's going to come in second in Iowa, maybe third if DeSantis is still in it.
But if they can get DeSantis to drop out, which is not going to happen, their thinking is they can close that gap.
Well, here's what they're planning on.
And get her in, like you said, 25, around there.
She's going to lose big in Iowa. They know that, okay? But the number when the results are in the next day, the gap will probably not be as wide as the poll numbers.
Right.
Then they go to New Hampshire, and the gap probably won't be as wide as the poll numbers. They're thinking they could maybe get her to gain a couple points there, because what'll happen is when Iowa happens, and they come in and say she comes in and she has – I'm just making these numbers up. But let's just say she comes in and has 24% of the vote. They're going to declare her the victor because she came from 8 to 24, even though she lost. You understand what I mean? So they're going to have this whole thing going on in the media that Nikki Haley really won in Iowa, not Trump, because she went from 8 to 24, whatever her number is. They'll declare that a victory. Then they're going to go to New Hampshire, try to get her to still come in second place, but maybe instead of 24, hit 26 or 28 and say, oh, look, she's gaining momentum. And then third is South Carolina, and she was twice elected governor of South Carolina. So they figure that she's going to perform really well in South Carolina, and Trump may beat her in South Carolina. This is what the Uniparty's thinking. But she may get 40-something% of the vote in South Carolina because she was twice elected governor not that long ago. So that, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll say, oh, wow, she's a player. That's their strategy. DeSantis is done.
Well, that was their strategy with DeSantis, and now it's shifted to her.
Yes.
Clearly. But he is not going to drop out. He's too humiliated, and it would be way too humiliating for him to drop out. It's not going to happen. He will let it happen organically. He'll let the voters decide. He's going to see this to the end, I promise you, and he will just keep going and going. Even if he's out of money, he'll keep going.
Yeah.
And he'll go through the caucuses and he'll let the voters decide, and that'll end it for him. But I can't see him making a big concession and saying I'm out, because he is still ahead of her. And as long as he's ahead of her, he feels there's hope.
Well,
and for DeSantis, him, and that he could get those points and get that momentum.
The Iowa it's only November. The Iowa caucus is in January, so we got all of November, December. His donors are gone, and he's not rich. He's got $1 million. He's made about $1.5 million off the book that he had, that pathetic book. He would have to use his own money because
he might have some money coming in. No, I mean, there are people on Twitter that still support him. He might be getting donations still.
He's burned through almost everything, and he's going to run out of money to pay the salaries of his campaign staff in Iowa, and that it's going to fade. He's got to have money to pay them.
How many more debates are there? Just the one?
No, there'll be. I don't know. After this, may be the last scheduled one, but there'll be more probably. At least, well, they hope there'll be more. There may not be. So he's going to be out because the donors are gone. He has no money. His campaign staff's going to be gone. But this is their strategy, and obviously it's not going to work. But their plan is to elevate her after South Carolina, because, like I said, twice elected governor. I haven't seen any real serious polls out of South Carolina. There's been some, but not any real serious ones to really give us an idea, and not one any for a long time, to show us how she would do against him. And let me tell you, she is worse than DeSantis. She is so up to her eyeballs with the military-industrial complex.
She's been compromised, for sure. You can see it in her face. And do you think she's angling to be the VP?
No. She's angling to get Trump out of the way.
You think she's
the Republicans?
Win? I mean, she thinks she's. Yeah.
See, here's the. I don't know about that. The Republicans have the uniparty Republicans, the ones working against Trump. Their strategy is to lose the presidential election. They don't expect to win it. They don't want to win it. They want the Democrats to win it. They just want to stop Trump.
Sure, they want to keep Biden in charge.
They want
He's
to
their
stop.
guy.
Well, what they want to do is stop Trump.
Right.
They don't want Trump to win.
No, they would much rather have Biden win.
Yeah.
Kensinger just tweeted that he's voting for Biden. Like, I'm sure he did before. I mean, that's not a surprise. All these people are Democrats. They're rhinos. And they're going to all vote for him and push people to vote for him. Even though he's, the world is a mess. Things are falling apart. Yeah. The border is insane. They don't care, like you said, but Trump's all their lying and it's amazing to me all their lying, conniving, scheming, and planning that they've done, and Trump is still the bad guy and they're the good guys. I don't know how people rationalize these things in their minds. I mean, what has he done to them other than say a few things or tweet a few mean things? But he hasn't gone after them like they've gone after him. No. How is he the villain here?
So you got to understand, because I will, without a doubt, if Trump is not the nominee, I will not be voting for any Republican on the ballot.
Me either.
I won't. I'm talking about Congress, City Commission, County Commission, everything.
Cat Turd said the same thing. He said he's done.
Yeah. And the Republicans are fine with that, the Republican Uniparty. They don't want us to be a part of the party. The people that run the party, the Mitch McConnell level of people and the Mitt Romney people, even though he's not running for re-election, he'll still have a role. These people still run the party where the money is. They don't mind having a small little Republican club that loses every election and is not in power again for 20 years, as long as they're running the party, because that they get to steal the money.
We just get it. We're a nuisance to them.
So a lot of things are going on with the Uniparty. So that's their plan with Nikki Haley. Now, to help do that, they're doing a lot of things working with the Democrats. Okay, yesterday we were talking about Newsmax off of DirecTV. They're trying to shut down. The reason they're taking Newsmax off of DirecTV is because Newsmax is the only cable outlet that carries all the Trump rallies and speeches. Okay, and they don't want that out there. Fox doesn't carry them, so they're taking Newsmax off, and millions of people will not see that. And I know I keep hearing from people, well, you can get the Newsmax app, you can pay for their thing, you can get it on YouTube. People that don't follow news and politics aren't going to do that. Listen, I don't watch football. I don't watch sports at all, okay? None. But a lot of guys spend a lot of money getting that football package on the dish or on their cable system, right? So they get every game. You guys don't have, and that's expensive. And it would not even occur to them not to buy the football package that costs a lot of money every season. Me, I wouldn't even consider buying the football package. That's how most people are that don't follow news and politics are all the time when it comes to Newsmax. They're not going to pay 10 cents. And if they got to be inconvenienced to go to an app on YouTube to watch it, they're not going to do it. So part of this effort to lose the election, the Republicans got Newsmax dropped from DirecTV. This thing in Colorado is another example. Today, Don Jr. is testifying in the New York trial. Tomorrow, Trump is testifying in that New York fraud trial. It's ridiculous. So President Trump is being attacked on every possible front. And the reason they've stepped things up, the DirecTV with Newsmax, and I'll tell you about the thing because Patrick Bet-David with DeSantis, I've been thinking about this a lot because I watch Patrick Bet-David. I like Patrick Bet-David. I haven't met him, but I meant his number 2 guy that's on the show with him all the time, and some people that work for him at Turning Point, and they're all very nice and very cool. But in the last couple of months, Patrick Bet-David has had all of those, pretty much all of those conservative influencers that you see all the time on his show in studio. Candace Owens, Tim Pool, all those people. You've seen them on there. So this thing with the shoes, I don't think just happened by accident. I've been telling you guys this week. I've been talking about. I told you a year and a half ago, DeSantis's undoing was going to be his height, and I've been talking about his height and the shoes for a year and a half, and now all of a sudden it's a thing, and everyone's talking about it because the Uniparty want DeSantis out, and he has refused to drop out. So they're humiliating him, is what they're doing. They're trying to. And there's a video that I tweeted. I showed this to everybody on my YouTube channel this morning. There's a photograph of DeSantis walking at an event with those high heel boots. And oh my goodness, I mean, it was really embarrassing.
When I saw that video of him, and I said to you, it looks like somebody whose feet really hurt, because I've walked in heels, obviously.
I have not.
And if you walk in heels a lot, after a while your feet, they're not comfortable. Your feet start to hurt, and you walk very strangely. And I know that walk. And when I saw that video of him walking, I said to you, his feet are really sore. That's why he's walking that way, because it's not natural for him to walk in those shoes. He probably only walks in them when he's in public, and he's not comfortable or used to it. It hurts your calves. I mean, it's
yeah.
You got to get used to it. Your toes are crammed in. And I saw another video of him in boots, and the boot was bent. And the way the boot was bent, his toes were like 4 inches from the top. So this is a major grift that he's pulling on the American people. It's really pathetic. I don't know why he just can't be himself, and why he thought he could fool everybody in today's world. This might have gone okay in 30 years ago, but in today's world of cameras and social media and TikTok, you can't get away with this kind of stuff anymore. And there's all these videos now coming out about this. But, according to the poll, we took on your YouTube, half the people, more than half, didn't care. I think it's a problem, but maybe people don't care about it as much as we think they should.
Well,
but I think it tells to the fact of the kind of character or lack of character he has.
Well, the thing with the boots with the heels,
it's
okay,
kind of funny in a way.
When I saw him walk, this is crazy for me to say, because you guys know nobody dislikes DeSantis more than me. I almost felt bad for him when I saw him walking in these shoes. This man is being degraded and humiliated like I've never seen a man humiliated before. And I imagine DeSantis goes home at night and cries on his, literally, really cry. I don't mean figuratively.
I don't think so.
Cries on his wife's shoulders.
No.
She
might cry. But I think he's totally deluded.
If you watched his face on the Patrick Bet-David interview, and then you watch him when he is walking outside in the heels, and a new video dropped of him in a second pair of high heel boots that are tan. He's got another pair of them walking on a stage. He doesn't look well in his face. He looks off. He's humiliated.
Now he has to keep that charade going, because if he starts wearing tennis shoes or dress shoes, his height will be two things. His height will be revealed, and it'll show everybody that he was making it up, and now he's trying to fix it. So he has to continue with that charade. The boots he's wearing are about 4 sizes too big for his feet. That's the whole thing. It's not that he just has lifts. He wants people to think that he's a big guy all over, that he's got big feet, and that it's a complete deception of what he's presenting to people. So he's not just wearing boots that are his size. He's wearing boots that are 4 sizes too big with lifts. So he wants you to think he's a size 13 shoe when he's really probably a size 8 shoe.
Well, the thing about this, though, the reason this is becoming a big thing now is the Uniparty are trying to humiliate him out of the race because he's refused to drop out, even though the money's drying up. And they have the debate in Miami next week, and President Trump is having a rally in Miami at the same time.
Yep.
And
I think you're right. I think the Uniparty put Patrick Bet-David up to this.
This is...
Somebody did.
Yeah. This debate next week, in Miami, a moderator very well may bring up the high heel boots to Ron DeSantis.
Oh, my goodness. Especially if he wears them.
It may be another candidate. It may be Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley's new ad is a DeSantis attack ad. It's not about Trump.
She's definitely going to bring it up.
So Nikki Haley may bring it up at the debate. So their plan is to get DeSantis out of the way so that Nikki Haley comes in second place. Now, the problem they're going to have is she's not likable. She really has no experience. I don't care what she's been elected as. I don't know anything she's done. She's kind of like Hillary Clinton. She's spokesmodel. She's had jobs. She never did anything. But the thing is, they're doing it too early because what's going to happen is it's November and the Iowa caucus is in January. That's a long time. She's going to be exposed as being a warmonger, military-industrial complex, war profiteer. And you're not seeing Vivek Ramaswamy anymore. And the reason you're not seeing him, he'll be at the debate, but the reason you're not seeing him, he's been canceled by the media. They're not promoting him like they were because he's the one who's exposed. 2 weeks ago, he did this. He started exposing Nikki Haley and her military-industrial complex connection. She was in deep debt. Now she's worth millions of dollars through Boeing and these things.
That's how it works.
And she's pushing to carpet bomb Iran. So they're not going to put Ramaswamy on TV like that. I'm not saying he's not on TV, but he's not on every 30 seconds like he was before.
There's a lot of money to be made in wars for these companies that make planes and weapons. Big money because the government pays for everything and they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on these things. So companies like Boeing and these other companies that make the items needed make it's like the drug companies. They make an absolute fortune off stuff. I mean, you were talking about Steve's drugs worth $4,000.
Prescription medications.
Prescription medication. Yeah. I have prescription medications that are thousands of dollars a month. I get grants that help that because I can't afford that, and they do offer grants, which is good. But not everybody can get those. And these drug companies jack up the prices so much. The same thing goes on when there's government involved. Anytime there's government involved, the prices are going to be 10, 20 times what they – remember Trump said that how many times has he told a story of wanting to get something done and the government and he got it done for half the price because he did it like in the private sector thinking and he'd say we don't need to spend that kind of money and that's how it works. So she's out there pushing this and pumping this up. We got to bomb them. We got to do this because you're right. She's working for Boeing now. And they know they're going to make trillions of dollars off planes and things.
Now,
I don't know how these people sleep at night. I guess in their mansions they sleep pretty well in their on their beachside homes. They that consoles them. I guess
exactly. Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support. And for those that don't know what Patreon is, it's if you want to support the show financially, you become a patron of the program. And there's an online platform called Patreon that you do that from. People ask me sometimes what Patreon is. Not everybody knows. And there's a link to our Patreon page in the description of this and every episode. You click that link, and on some platforms it may not be clickable. You may have to copy and paste it. You go to the web page, and it'll walk you through how to become a Patreon supporter. And Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of all of the podcast episodes and access to exclusive things that Kathy and I both post there all the time. Plus, we are pretty much in direct communication with any Patreon supporter who wants to be in direct communication with us. You can do that through our Patreon page. And if you'd like to support the show by becoming a patron, just go to that link in the description. And I want to tell you, I've got some ideas in my head on expanding what I am doing. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you would help very much in that endeavor for me to expand what I am doing and expand my coverage and outreach. What my thoughts and plans are, I can't share with you guys yet, but I have some big things in mind. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you'll help me do that. All right. Now, one of the perks, our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Mike P, Rome, Wisconsin, Macho, Wesley, Nick, Rick, Carlos, Paulette, John, ActicFox, Heather, David, Richard, Maria in Texas, and Melissa. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. All right, now there's one last thing I want to mention before we break because it relates to what we've been talking about in this segment, and I want to connect it to this segment, not take a break because I got a lot on my mind, guys, and I will lose my thoughts on. That's what I was telling Kathy. I'll lose my train of thought on this. I saw a story on the Drudge Report today. I think I may be the only person that reads the Drudge Report anymore, but I've been going there more and more often, and it's pretty left wing. And it's a good place to go to find out what the other side's thinking, okay, a lot of times. But they have an article there about Robert Kennedy Jr., and there's a lot of Republican donors to Robert Kennedy Jr., and the article on the Drudge Report says that he's a danger to Trump because so many Republican donors are donating to him, and these donations are part of the public record because it's a presidential campaign.
And these donors are really wasting their money. They're just throwing money at anybody they think that can beat Trump.
No, it's not that. It's the Trump people are donating to Robert Kennedy because he is a threat to Biden, and they want him to be in the race. And to be in these primaries is expensive. So the Republican Trump donors are not donating to help Robert Kennedy. They're donating to Robert Kennedy to hurt Biden so that Biden has competition and a pretty hardcore Democratic Kennedy on the ticket. They want him to be on the ticket, at least in key states, to give Biden a run for his money in the general election. They want to have Robert, this is
when are those primaries with Kennedy?
He's not going to be in the primaries because he's running as an independent.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to not the primaries. He's going to be running in the general election as Kennedy's plan.
Okay.
So
he won't be on the ballot till November.
Exactly. It's an Operation Chaos thing. So Trump supporters, we want Robert Kennedy on the ballot, not in every state, but in certain states.
A lot of people
to hurt
are
Biden.
Still convinced that it'll hurt Trump.
They're just out of their mind.
A lot of people still feel that way.
They're out of their minds.
They feel that way. So I don't know if the money going there is for that reason. They might be thinking
it is.
It's going to help Trump. I mean, help Biden.
No. Well, there may be a couple people there that are misguided. But
I'm sure. I agree with you, but there are people I've seen on Twitter and on social media and people leaving comments and articles and things that still think it's going to hurt Trump.
Well, these millionaire donors are not stupid people. Most of them are pretty smart. That's why they have so much money they can give it away to politicians. And I think it's a pretty smart strategy, really. All right, now listen, we're going to take our break. Don't go anywhere. We got so much more to talk about. My name's Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take this break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
From author L. Falloon comes the epic adventure, The Boy Who Knew Fire. Thomas Kane Series Book 1, available on Amazon. In The Boy Who Knew Fire, meet Thomas. He's an ordinary boy who discovers an extraordinary destiny on his 13th birthday. He's about to become the shepherd, a guardian of the elements, and the key to Earth's future. But there's a catch. The awakening of the new elements is still 5 years away. That is, until an ancient adversary, known as the Null, awakens them prematurely, throwing the world into chaos. Now, Thomas must rise to the challenge and become Earth's most unlikely hero. In a heroic journey that's filled with twists, turns, and unimaginable challenges, he's destined to protect the elements and save the world. Order your copy of this thrilling and heartwarming story of courage, destiny, and the power of unlikely heroes. The Boy Who Knew Fire, Thomas Kane Series Book 1, from author L. Falloon, available on Amazon. This Christmas, give the gift of creativity, imagination, and endless fun with B-Blocks Building Blocks, available on Amazon. B-Blocks Building Blocks isn't just a fun gift, but it's educational too. It's a STEM toy of 500 pieces. That's right, 500 pieces to ignite your little one's creativity. Children will be introduced to a world of colors, shapes, and designs. They'll learn to play and create with 8 vibrant colors. From enhancing fine motor skills to exploring basic geometry and architecture, B-Blocks Building Blocks is fun and a powerful learning tool. And they click securely together, too. They're safe and cool, perfect for boys and girls. And this is a gift they'll cherish for years to come. B-Blocks Building Blocks are available in the B-Blocks store on Amazon. Just search B-Blocks, B-E-B-L-O-X. B-Blocks Building Blocks, because every child deserves the best. Only in the B-Blocks store on Amazon. Order your child's set right now. Mark your calendars for an event that's all about understanding and empowering our loved ones with autism. The Autism Health Summit is February 2nd and 3rd in San Antonio, Texas, and will cover the entire world of autism research and treatments. This isn't just any conference, it's parent-driven and focuses on healing the underlying conditions associated with autism and other neurological disorders. Expert speakers will be in attendance to share their knowledge. Join hundreds of parents and professionals discovering the latest in research, treatment options, and breakthrough therapies. Whether you're new to the autism journey or have been on it for years, you'll walk away with a plan for your next steps. But don't wait. Booth and table space are limited. To register and get more information, visit autismhealth.com. The Autism Health Summit in San Antonio, Texas. Be a part of the movement towards a brighter future. autismhealth.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy.
I wanted to bring up one thing real quick. Did you see this viral video? It's all over Twitter today of these two families stealing this Halloween candy.
No.
It's all over Twitter today. Everybody's got a Ring camera or a front door camera in their house. And some people, for some crazy reason, leave out candy in a bowl. The people across the street from us do it every year. I think it's nuts. And, of course, there's always sometimes kids that'll come and kids will do it, dump the candy in their bag and take the whole thing, right? Well, this was two moms and their kids. Okay. And they ran, it's on the camera. It's on Twitter. It was all over Twitter today. And it's great footage. And they run up to this house in a hurry and they take, there's like 7 or 8 of them, 2 moms and like 5 kids. And they take all the candy out of this full bowl. Well, everybody's saying they're illegals. They're speaking Spanish. So I don't know if that means they're illegals, but you never know these days. And everybody's all upset about this, that I've never seen 2 mothers involved in this thing. And I also read an article that there's a new booming red light district in Queens that's being, as it's all illegals now. Remember Trump said they're going to bring in all kinds of crime and stuff. So I'm wondering, like, I've seen kids steal candy, but people are saying these are 2 illegal moms with their kids, and they're like really upset over this. And then another kid in the neighborhood came and put his candy in the bowl. This neighborhood kid gave his whole bag of candy back to the bowls, which is really sweet. So I just want to mention that because that was all over Twitter today and trending. But people were really, I don't know why it was trending. I guess because it was such a good video footage. But I've never seen 2 mothers involved in the stealing. It's usually kids by themselves. I just thought it was really
anybody who leaves a bowl of candy out unattended, the first group of kids are going to take it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's good. And I don't like the 2 mothers are involved. I think you're teaching your kids a horrible lesson. I don't know if they were illegals or not. But if you put out a bowl of candy unattended, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to take that whole damn bowl. I don't know why people do that. But it's interesting because the person took the video, uploaded it to social media. Everybody's retweeting it today. So I'm just wondering if those people know that that it's gone viral. I mean, and that people are retweeting it over and over again. I don't know. Is that a crime? If you put candy out in a bowl and somebody takes it, I don't think that's considered stealing. Well, it's Halloween. You're putting the candy out. It's not like they're taking your Amazon packages.
If you put a sign out and say that you can only take, 1.
And they take it all, that's a crime? No way.
It might be theft, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. We did not hand out candy last night. It was the first Halloween in a while. We've not done it. No. And the kids, even though we had the lights off and everything,
we got a few knocks.
Well, the kids wouldn't go away. They were like, some would knock, but then some would like keep knocking and keep pounding, and it was,
I felt really bad, but
we didn't do it this year.
I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah. All right. Now let me get back to this. So Comer is coming out with a lot of big stuff on Biden's crimes.
I saw this.
Let me play this. This is Comer today, and now that we've got this MAGA conservative Speaker of the House,
you think something's going to happen?
Things going to happen. Absolutely. So let me just play this. This is Comer today. This is beautiful stuff.
Remember when Joe Biden told the American people that his son didn't make any money in China?
My son has not made money terms
such a
of
liar.
this thing about, what are you talking about? China.
Well, not only did he lie about his son Hunter making money in China, but it also turns out that $40,000 in laundered China money landed in Joe Biden's bank account in the form of a personal check. And the Oversight Committee has it. Here's how Joe Biden benefited from his family's shady deal with CEFC, a Chinese Communist Party-linked company. It all began with a shakedown in the summer of 2017, when Hunter Biden sent a message to his CEFC associate demanding a $10 million capital payment. As Hunter Biden extorted this associate, Hunter claimed he was sitting with his father and that the Biden network would turn on his associate if he didn't pony up the money.
Wow.
The extortion scheme worked. Days later, $5 million flowed in from a Chinese affiliate of CEFC. Over the following 3 weeks, Biden family members made a series of complicated financial transactions to hide the source of the China money. Here's how that happened. First, Northern International Capital, a Chinese company associated with CEFC, wired $5 million to Hudson West 3, a joint venture established by Hunter Biden and a CEFC associate. Then Hudson West 3 sent $400,000 to an entity owned and controlled by Hunter Biden. Next, Hunter Biden wired $150,000 to Lion Hall Group, a company owned by James and Sarah Biden. Sarah Biden then withdrew $50,000 in cash from Lion Hall Group.
Oh, my goodness.
Later the same day, she deposited it into her and James Biden's personal checking account. A few days later, Sarah Biden cut a check to Joe Biden for $40,000. The memo line of the check said loan repayment. Like the payment to Joe from AmeriCorps funds, it's certainly plausible that this payment where James and Sarah used funds from China was indeed a loan payment to Joe. But even if this $40,000 check was a loan repayment from James Biden, it still shows how Joe benefited from his family cashing in on his name, with money from China no less. Without his family peddling his name and his son threatening a CEFC associate with consequences that he said Joe Biden knew about, James wouldn't have had the money to write the $40,000 check to his brother Joe. It's also worth remembering that Biden family efforts to secure millions from this Chinese company began when Joe Biden was still vice president. In taking funds sourced to a CCP-linked company that wanted to advance China's interest, Joe Biden exposed himself to future blackmail and put America's interest behind his own desire for money. The House Oversight Committee will continue to follow the money and hold President Biden accountable for his corruption.
Okay. Now, this is huge, okay?
Wow.
Now, you guys heard it, so I'm not going to restate it.
I have never seen so much evidence of corruption with a political official ever.
Here's the thing. These crimes are kind of old crimes when he was vice president, right? You think that he just stopped since he became president? Whatever he's doing now is this times infinity.
Brian, this is why he ran for president.
Yeah,
so he can get back in the Oval Office and do these things again.
Yeah. So as bad as these crimes are, and they're god-awful, and anybody else in their entire family would be in prison for this, whatever crimes he's doing now are many times worse than this. Very
much more lucrative,
very high level, much more money than this.
Yeah, because he's the president.
Yeah,
now.
And he can sign off on anything.
That's right.
And
his ultimate power.
What happens with bribes? Okay, what happens with bribes? Once you take one bribe, they got you, right? So, what policy decisions has Biden made since he's been the president that are in response to these bribes?
I could tell you one right now.
Yeah, well, what?
The border.
Oh, yeah.
He's letting all the China wants him to let all these people in, all the drugs. He's not closing the border.
Now this is a big one.
That's a big one.
The border. Remember, the fentanyl that's coming through the border right now, not just the people, but the fentanyl is all from China. The fentanyl is manufactured in China, shipped to Mexico from China. So that alone has a price tag on it that we couldn't put a number on. That's probably one of the things that he not only was bribed to do, but he's still being paid to do.
Yeah, and probably involvement with the Ukraine.
And, the thing about that,
war and all that,
this is beyond the Biden family. When someone is taking bribes at the level of Biden, the decisions that they make because of the bribe money are obvious to everyone around them. So everyone in the White House, everyone on his staff, including Kamala Harris and members of the cabinet, are well aware of what he's doing. They are all aware of this criminal activity. That makes them all part of the conspiracy. We have an entire cabinet, White House staff, a president and a vice president who are the most corrupt, bribe-taking people that have ever been in the White House. Now, I'm sure there have been other presidents that have taken bribes and everything else. That's what Washington's about. No one has done it on the level of Joe Biden.
But I don't know if what's interesting is I thought they were just taking bribes, but it seems like it's more of a shakedown scenario where Hunter approaches companies connected to these countries.
Yeah.
And he threatens them like Jesse Jackson used to do with companies. And it's more of a shakedown instead of people coming to Joe and saying, you better do this and we'll pay you or else. It seems like they're approaching people and using their position to threaten people and companies into giving them money, or their father's going to enact policies that they won't like.
That's correct.
So they're the ones who are more in control of what's happening, who they approach, the amount of money they want. I'm sure it's still going on. There's mountains and mountains of evidence of this. And any Democrat that goes on TV and tells you there's nothing there, they're lying to your face, flat out. They're just flat out lying because there is so much evidence. Meanwhile, Trump's been impeached twice. Trump was impeached over a phone call where he said to the guy, you should look into Biden, right? Obviously, he was right because look what's going on with Biden. That's all that happened, and they impeached him over that. They have an actual check. They have bank documents, records, letters, emails, mountains and mountains of evidence of bribery, corruption, whatever you want to call it, shakedowns. Nothing. That's why people are so frustrated with the government, and that's why Trump is doing so well, because they see him as fighting this corrupt system, and as long as that system is corrupt, Trump is going to do very well because he's the antithesis of that corruption, and the corruption is so evident and profound and obvious that there's no denying it. That even Democrats are like, this is just too much.
And with all this going on, it's Don Jr. who's in court today.
Incredible.
And Eric Trump tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
people see this, Brian. That's why Trump's doing so well. They see this railroading and this double standard that's going on.
Now, speaking of railroading, and one person that's been railroaded, of course, is the great Mike Lindell. You've seen what he's going through. And, you know, when you go to mypillow.com and you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you're supporting Mike Lindell, and you're also supporting all of the content I'm connected to. When you use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you get huge savings and you get great deals on great top MyPillow products. I just want to talk a moment about the bathrobes. Right now, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, the MyPillow bathrobes are $100 off. Now, I know a lot of these discounts are huge. I told you a couple weeks ago that Mike Lindell was running what I call special specials because of this little financial problems he's had with the lawyers and everything. He has heavily, deeply discounted things throughout his website. All of the specials you see, you can take advantage of with our promo code Kane, Kane at checkout. But the bathrobes, Kathy and I each have one. They're very well made. They have a whole bunch of new colors in, and you can see them on the website. But also they have two different types of robes. They have a heavy robe and a lighter robe. We have the heavier robes, but they also have a lighter robe. They have robes for both men and women in many different sizes and a whole bunch of new colors. And they make great Christmas gifts.
Yeah, if you live up north, I gave my mom the heavy robe because she swims every day. And in the mornings, she's here in Florida, but she's older and she's always cold. So she puts that robe on. It's like a really thick, like a soft terry cloth cotton. And she just puts it on right when she gets out, dries her off and keeps her warm. She absolutely loves it. So it's good you have that option, whether you want the thinner one or if you're in an area where it's colder or you run cold, the thicker one is really nice. That's the one we have. And let me tell you, it is so comfortable.
In the wintertime.
And oh my goodness.
So the MyPillow bathrobe, $100 off right now with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. My name's Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take a quick break and be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
From author Joshua Whelan comes a book that will challenge your beliefs and ignite your curiosity. The Departure, available on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and Audible. Centuries ago, Earth's citizens, except for true Christians, Muslims, and Buddhists, left the planet believing the sun was dying. But here's the twist. After 4 long centuries, Earth is rediscovered, and its inhabitants are thriving. This leaves the Galactic Federation puzzled. Were the scientists wrong, or were they deceived? Arliss Mars of the planet Washington is on a quest to unravel the mysteries of the cult. But when thousands vanish, all belonging to the cult, doubt creeps in. Could they be onto something? Alfra's world is turned upside down when her sister disappears after converting to Christianity. Will she uncover the hidden truths that she's been shielded from all her life? Can she escape her oppressive husband and embrace her newfound faith? A new tyrant seizes control of the Federation, demanding godlike worship. Will the resistance rise against this tyranny, or will they falter in the face of oppression? As evidence of the Christian faith reveals the truth of the Bible, the world is forced to reckon with its reality. How many will turn to him, and how many will turn away? Find out when you read The Departure from author Joshua Whelan, a thought-provoking journey that challenges beliefs, ignites faith, and unveils hidden truths. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Audible. Order your copy right now and begin an epic adventure of faith, discovery, and transformation. From author Reginald Veasley comes a book about the complexities of modern relationships and the pursuit of love. Right Task, Wrong Woman, available on Amazon. Right Task, Wrong Woman is a thought-provoking exploration of dating, love, and self-discovery. With unwavering honesty, the author challenges the conventional notions of femininity and masculinity and emphasizes the importance of self-love as the foundation for building meaningful connections with others. Right Task, Wrong Woman also highlights the significance of emotional intelligence and empathetic communication in the quest for authentic relationships. Filled with candid anecdotes and powerful insights, this must-read book invites readers to embrace personal growth and celebrate your worth. It's a guide for both men and women that will empower you to find authenticity, love, and self-empowerment in an ever-changing world. Right Task, Wrong Woman from author Reginald Veasley is available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions. Also, find the author in his Facebook group, Sub-0501. That's 0 ZERO. There he talks about many different topics, including news, innovations, world events, possibilities, the abnormal, history, fashion, style, literature, a little bit of everything. You can also visit the author's website, Sub-0501.com. And the book, Right Task, Wrong Woman, will challenge, inspire, and empower you to find love and self-empowerment. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Right Task, Wrong Woman from author Reginald Veasley. Are you seeking spiritual fellowship and growth in your faith? Join an online Catholic prayer group where faith, prayer, and community come together. Just go to meetup.com and search Catholic Prayer, Fellowship, and Spirituality in Somerset, New Jersey. They gather for rosary prayer sessions 4 nights a week, followed by the Divine Office. There's no experience needed, and first-timers are always welcome. The online meetup and prayer group are free and have been around for 20 years. And they're not just about prayer. Once a month, they come together to watch spiritually enriching films and explore the lives of saints. It's a holistic approach to nurturing your faith. Deepen your faith and join this incredible group of prayer and fellowship. Go to meetup.com and search online Catholic Prayer, Fellowship, and Spirituality in Somerset, New Jersey, and join the community.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. During the break, I looked at that video of the Halloween candy stealing.
Yeah, it's all over Twitter.
Mom was leading the theft.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
It didn't register with me as much until I saw the video.
Yeah, you have to see it.
The mother's like helping them steal.
The mother was the first one in the bowl, and she was putting them in the bags.
Yeah, never seen anything like it.
I have never seen a parent do that
steal with
ever.
Their children.
Kids,
like
yes.
Well, the Bidens, that's how they do it. They steal together. They steal.
I guess so.
Okay, now something came out about Mike Johnson today that has a lot of people freaked out, okay? And the people that are freaked out are the people that are freaked out by him anyway. They're like Trump. They're going to grab onto anything they can do to justify their anger towards him.
Yeah.
These
and
haters
towards Christians.
And this is there's an article in the Daily Beast today. I'll go through this, and tell you the true story, but this is our Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike Johnson. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson does not have a retirement savings account. He does not own a single stock. He has no assets. And they also say that he has no bank account. Okay? And people are like, how could this be? Listen to this. This is the Daily Beast article, and it's pretty good. Well, what the article says is he does not have a single bank account, okay? And I'm not going to read through
That's
the
unusual.
whole article. Well, it's not really true, okay?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a bank account with enough money in it to report it on his financial disclosures. So he's not wealthy. He has
What's the cap?
a few $1,000s, but he's got like $1,000 or so around
so
about.
he's
in his
living
bank.
paycheck to paycheck like everybody else.
That's right. He's living paycheck to paycheck.
Like every other American.
He's not a rich man, which is really amazing. How
all public figures should be.
Yeah. How did he get to be? Well, I don't want public figures to all have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Well, no, but they shouldn't be multimillionaires with beach homes either.
The way that they're spinning this is unbelievable. He has a $250,000 mortgage. He has a family. He has several kids. So he's living paycheck to paycheck like a lot of families do that have kids and everything else. And it's so bizarre what they're saying. He has bank accounts. He just doesn't have enough money in them to have to report them in the congressional disclosures, okay? And most people, that sadly is where they are during this Biden economy.
Like every other American.
Exactly. And the way it really cracks me up the way this is being spun by the liberals on social media. They're saying because he doesn't have a lot of money, he's susceptible to bribery.
Okay.
The opposite is true.
Exactly.
This guy is the Speaker of the House. He's third in line to the presidency. He is the highest ranking elected Republican in America. As Speaker of the House, he's in charge of all House legislation, and that's where all the money is decided for the budget. They control the Treasury. This guy could be worth millions of dollars tomorrow if he wanted. The fact that he lives paycheck to paycheck and is not wealthy is a testament to
how honest
he is. And
I promise you, he doesn't wear lifts in his shoes.
That's true.
He's not a tall man.
That's true. And it shows that when he says he's a Bible-believing Christian who really lives his faith, that it's true, or he would be a rich man.
That's what really this hatred is all about from the left, is that he's a Christian and he's a practicing Christian. And it's amazing you played that clip yesterday of all those people calling him a right-wing Christian fundamentalist, this and that. All these people on the left are saying Bill Maher compared him to the shooter. That he's so radical. They don't even know this guy. They just hate Christians. That's where this is all coming from. He hasn't done anything so far to warrant their hatred. He just got the job. They're prejudging him, but they say he's a bigot. But meanwhile, they're so bigoted against Christians. Bill Maher hates anybody of faith. He's a devout atheist. I've never seen somebody who doesn't believe in God talk about God so much. But I always pray for his conversion, Bill Maher, all the time, because I think that would be as big as
he's halfway there because
Paul was converted.
He's halfway there because I think Bill Maher's a conservative. I think he's more conservative
he's
than
not a Christian. He's too involved in shady things. He likes the reason I think he's not a Christian, because I do believe deep down he does believe in God because he talks about God so much. But I think he lives a lifestyle that's very shameful, and he doesn't want to give up that life. So it's more convenient for him to pretend God doesn't exist so he doesn't have to live with the guilt. And I think that's the way it is with a lot of atheists. They want to be able to do what they want without accountability. And when you're a Christian, you're very accountable to your conscience that is innate, that God puts in your body. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that. But this guy is dealing with some major Christian bashing from the left. They hate Christians. They think that they've bought the lie that we're bigots. Meanwhile, they'll call him every name in the book, but he's the bigot. I mean, it's just hilarious. They don't even hear themselves, but they think their bigotry is not bigotry, and they think whatever they're saying is completely justified because he's the dangerous one. He hasn't gone on TV and said anything bad about anybody. I haven't heard him say anything mean about anybody or done anything mean. He's a nice man.
And the fact,
it's incredible.
The fact that he's a middle class guy living paycheck to paycheck, I think that's a plus.
him being in there, I got to tell you, helps me sleep better at night. It might keep them awake at night, but it helps me sleep better at night knowing he's in charge.
When's the last time we had a Speaker of the House that was not a millionaire? Probably none, never in our lifetime.
Let alone how about just a politician that was not rich? Most of them are.
Sometimes when they first go to Congress, a lot of them are not, and then they all of a sudden get rich, like John Boehner.
Right.
He was worth millions of dollars. He grew up poor. How do you make his millions?
Well, they all make it.
Exactly.
So hopefully, I don't think that'll happen with this man.
Yeah. So, they're all, listen, Mike Johnson's always going to be hated by the media and the left.
Yeah.
And the fact that he hasn't been corrupted, they find corrupt. But here you got Biden, who's got this elaborate money laundering thing with his family, hilarious. And that's okay.
They completely, what I've learned about Democrats,
he's not rich, so he's corrupt because he's not rich.
They completely ignore what's really happening because it's happening in their own party. They completely ignore the corruption happening right in front of their face with mountains of evidence. And instead, they focus on a fantasy of what could happen in their mind, in their fantasy mind, of what this guy Mike Johnson's capable of, even though none of that has come true. It's really they live in a delusion, these people. They really do. And they live in a constant world of hatred and anger and fear. And they project what they feel onto others.
Yeah.
And they project that anger and hatred and fear onto everybody else. Misery loves company. They love to divide and conquer. I mean, that's how they are. So, if you're not a Mike Johnson fan because the left has brainwashed you, listen to him for yourself. And I think he can separate his religion from his policies. Christians can do that, I'm sure it guides him in a lot of what he thinks and feels, and I'm sure he prays all the time. But I'm also sure that he can make decisions that are secular that might not have a lot to do with biblical things. I think he's capable of that. He's an intelligent guy. They painted it like, everything he says and does comes out of the Old New Testament, and I'm sure it guides him. But let's see what he does first with all this.
Exactly.
Give the guy a chance.
Now, I wanted to play this clip. It's quick. When I saw this on Twitter today, and I retweeted this. And I just wanted to play it for you guys. Now, listen. If you follow me on Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter, all the stories that I talk about on any platform I'm on, they're on my Twitter. Okay, when I see a story that I read or I'm interested in or that I might talk about, I tweet it, and then when I'm on the air, I go through my Twitter feed, and that's how I do my show prep. It's my stack of stuff. So if you follow me on Twitter at Brian Craig Show, you get all my show prep.
Also the Facebook group, Brian Craig Show. Mm-hmm. We post articles there too.
Including the articles I don't get to because we ran out of time, And but this is when I saw this. Like that video of DeSantis walking in the high heels, real video. It's crazy, but that's on my Twitter. But this is a quick one. This is the national news. This is 1983.
Oh, I saw this. This is incredible.
Yeah, listen to this. This is
hilarious.
1983. Ronald Reagan was president.
Jessica Savage.
Mm-hmm. Jessica, yeah, she was a big deal. Listen to this.
The Reagan administration has proposed making airbags or automatic seatbelts mandatory for new cars. Critics urged immediate action. And finally, a federal report today predicted possible catastrophic warming of the Earth by the 1990s with a strong climate change. I'm Jessica Savage in New York. More news later on this NBC station.
Okay. So the greenhouse effect was going to make the Earth incapable of supporting life through major global warming by the 1990s.
Which was, 30 years ago?
33 years ago is when it started.
Oh, my gosh.
Because it's,
They just use fear to control people.
I love that.
That's what this is all about. They use fear to control people. They scare you. And a lot of it is a distraction to get you thinking and worrying about and talking about something else while they're doing something conniving and scheming. That's something else. We're so manipulated. And the media, they're just good soldiers. They just do what they're told, report what they're told to report. And I really never knew that growing up, that the media is really controlled by these larger groups that just feed them information to spit out to the American people to listen to. I mean, it is bad, and it's a bunch of baloney, and that's really interesting. She basically said the world. Remember AOC? What was it? 12 years. So we're about halfway through that, maybe more. Maybe we're 7 years in.
She said 11, and that was like 4 years ago.
So we have 7 years to go. Mm-hmm. She doesn't talk about that anymore. I mean, what's interesting to me, and what people I would love to see ask somebody like John Kerry or these nuts, is we have clearly made concessions when it comes to the climate. People are, there's no more emission. I remember I had to take my car in to get emissions checked every year. They changed
I hated that stuff.
So we don't do that. The cars don't give off the emissions like they did. Everybody's recycling. Nope, you don't get straws anymore halfway. Things have definitely changed in the name of the climate. So why are things still getting worse? How come there's not a reversal of this yet, of things getting better? I mean, if we can control the weather and we can control the climate as humans, then how come all the things we've been doing have not reversed this problem? And I think you need to really think about that. That tells you it's all baloney.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I was going to say something else, but I'll be nice.
That's exactly right.
It's all BS.
Now, listen, we're out of time for today, but we'll be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening.